We will start momentarily because we're missing, holy smokes, hold on. Okay, we're missing Aaron Vassilotti, our city manager, and council members, so I know they're on their way. So if you guys will just be patient for a moment. We'll get started. Anyway, I guess I could just talk about something. Oh, there he is. All right. All right, we'll call this meeting to order and welcome to the February 19th, 2026 City Council meeting. Monica, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, of course. Mayor
Thank you.
Case,
I'm here.
Mayor Pro Tem Nakai,
Here.
Councilmember Bryant,
Here.
Councilmember Gear,
Here.
Councilmember Jones,
Here.
Councilmember Smith,
Yep.
all six present. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Monica. If everyone would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you, everyone. Item 3 is ceremonies, presentations, and appointments, and we don't have anything this evening, unfortunately. That's my favorite part. Item 4 is additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda. Monica, do we have anything?
No, we don't.
Thank you. Item 5, council, is the consent calendar. We have 2 items: approval of City Hall roof repair contract between the City of Woodland Park and Garland/DBS Incorporated in the amount of $194,091. And then we have item B, which is approval of the February 5th, 2026 City Council meeting minutes. And anything that you would like to pull off, you all to consider separately.
I think we'd like to talk with, it looks like Rob, if it's possible. Yeah. I just wanted to get, thanks, Rob. I just wanted to get an understanding of timing, what roofs, just the scope of the project that we're talking about. It's $194,000. So.
Yep. So on top of this building, we have 4 roofs. This project is for the main roof. So what's over our head right now. So the biggest section of it. So that's what this project covers. As far as the timing goes, it's kind of weather dependent. Once we get the contract approved, it's already signed by the other team. But once it stops snowing, we can get up there, get part of the old roof off, get the roof dried out, and then we'll put it back on. Okay. So it's kind of weather dependent.
Perfect. Thank you.
Anything else? All right. I'd like if I could please have a motion for the consent calendar.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar as written.
I'll second. Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Anything else, council? Monica?
Case?
Here. Yes, I am here. Yes.
Nakai,
Yes.
Bryant,
Yes.
Gear,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
and the consent calendar passes unanimously.
Thank you. Item 6 is public comment on items not on the agenda. Is there anyone signed up online or in the audience?
We did have Janelle Waltzer sign up online.
All right, Janelle, if you'd come to the podium. I think this is going to be fun. If you just give us your name and town of residence, please.
My name is Janelle Walzer. I am a resident of Divide. I'm a mother of 4, president of Woodland Park Hockey Association, coach of our U14 and our U8 team, as well as helping assist coach the Skills and Drills program that is currently actually on the ice right now. So I am not there, but I want to be here. I've assisted with baseball and soccer as well as part of the the Parks and Rec program. I'm a Zamboni driver. My husband and I own a landscaping business, and we volunteer our time when we have snow to help plow the rink as well as the parking lot at Meadowood. But this year it's kind of been a lack of snow, and that's part of the reason that I'm here. So we're in our 3rd season of rink use at Meadowood. We began making ice right after Thanksgiving to only lose it to warm temperatures within about a week. So we basically had the whole month of December off. We began making ice again for the second time before the new year. And in less than 2 weeks, with more than 100 man hours of volunteer time from parents, some of them are here, Woodland Park Hockey Association parents plus city crews time, we arrived at our second season on January 10th. Due to warm temperatures, the rink has been closed since Friday, February 6th. So we got less than a month of ice. Season 3 is beginning tonight as we speak due to volunteers, and I have a family that spent probably a good 5 or 6 hours at the rink last night trying to fill in holes to make up for not being on the ice since February 6th. As we speak, the programming use of who uses the ice rink right now is Woodland Park Hockey Association, Woodland Park High School hockey team, and then Parks and Rec Skills and Drills program, as well as the community. But we've had less than a month of usable ice. There are 120 kids that represent all the kids that are in those makeup of programming. So we've only been able to offer that to them for about a month. Weather has been brutal for ice this year. Just to give you a perspective, Colorado Springs is an outdoor rink that they rent a chiller to keep a rink up and running in downtown Colorado Springs where there is no roof, no shelter. The chiller that they use keeps the ice running from Thanksgiving to January 31st. And even with temperatures when they reach 70 degrees in the sun, they've been able to maintain ice down there. You might ask, what is a chiller? It's a piping system underneath the rink that help maintains cold and consistent temperatures, which would help allow Meadowood to be able to be fully dependent on not cold temperatures and the lack of sun because the sun is what is ultimately taken down Meadowood. And a roof would also help us to help preserve the ice and keep the sun off of it, plus then the snow when we get snow. I'm standing here before you on behalf of the hockey community, asking that the city continues to push the budget for the Meadowood Sports Complex Phase 1 project. I know we are part of a 3-phase project, and by only having a month, it has been hard and detrimental to our kids. And the rink could be usable, I think, from October to March, allowing us as a community to use that for local programming. But also I've been approached by other organizations down the pass that are looking for ice, and they are looking to rent ice from us. And so I'm going to tell you what we pay for ice. We pay $310 at one rink and $330 an hour for ice. Well, that's a possibility of things that can go back into our pocket. I don't know how that would be made up, but I guess I just wanted to give you a perspective of what ice is running at. All of these families have to drive down the pass from September to December, and then we are up here from January once we get ice until when the season is done. So I've got families that are driving. I'm on the northwest side of Divide, and it's a 45-minute drive for my family to get down the pass. I know there are other families that are beyond that. I'd like to encourage the investment of Meadowood Sports Complex to continue. WPHA has ran 2 events over the 4-week span that we had ice, hosting 22 different teams over 4 different days in January, which included hotel stays and spending money in our community. We would be able to host more events and bring more families and players into the community during the winter months if we were able to have a chiller and a roof to be able to provide that to the community. I appreciate all your time, effort, and I also would like to thank our WPHA volunteers that have helped maintain the ice, but also city crews that have also helped make the ice. It's been a little bit of a rough year, but trying to make the best of it. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else?
We have one other person signed up, Gail Penny. Last name starts with the E, but I can't read it.
All right. Welcome, Gail Garrick.
Hello. Gail Garrick, Woodland Park. We're here just to make another announcement about the forum that the Braver Angels have sponsored. They sponsored a forum, you probably heard about it, February 7th. It was about living affordably in wildfire country. The state insurance commissioner spoke, and it was very informative. And we had about 140 people come standing in the hallways of the library. And so the forum coming up on the 28th will be held at Summit Elementary that has the capacity for 200 people. And Penny will tell you more about that forum.
Thank you. As Gail said, it is going, we're having the second portion of our Living Safely in Wildfire Country on February 28th at Summit Elementary. It holds, the plan right now is it holds up to 200 people. So I know some people were disappointed that they couldn't be in the room. We Zoomed it out, so it worked. But never fear, there will be a chair for everyone who decides to come. What we're going to do is we'll be having a panel of leaders and experts there to speak and then answer questions as to wildfire, being prepared for wildfire, and then to answer any questions that you have about such things. Some of the people who will be there are the Teller County Commissioner, Dan Williams, Northeast County and 4 Mile Fire Chiefs, the Colorado State Forest Service Supervisory Forester, Mike Till, and and Teller County Community Development Director, Dan Swallow. All are planning on to be there and to give their insight, their perspectives, and to answer any questions. It will run similar to what we did before, which is we will have questions for them pre-made. And then afterwards, it will be for the community to ask questions. And ultimately, we just need suggestions for the county or for us, what our next steps are for our community. So once again, the forum is on February 28th from 2 to 4:30. At Summit Elementary in Divide. And we just, we're delighted to be able to present this for the county. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Because I was at the first one and it was marvelous. So thank you for doing that. All right. Anyone else, Monica? Anyone in the audience? Debbie?
Good evening, Debbie Miller. I am so sorry I didn't get signed up on time, but when I realized it would really be too late to announce this at the next council meeting, I wanted to do this publicly so that you all know, and I'm sure you've read the press release, but your own Kip Wiley is our Employee of the Year this year. He will be honored at our annual dinner on March 6th. And I have to tell you, when you see his video that I did with him, you're going to be so proud. He talked about water, wastewater, and roads. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Anyone else in the audience wishing to address the council? All right, then. Item 7 is unfinished business, and we have nothing this evening. Item 8 is ordinances on initial posting. Item A is approval of ordinance number 1521, series 2026, an ordinance of the city of Woodland Park, repealing and replacing Title 16, Title 17, and Title 18 of the Woodland Park Municipal Code, repealing section 5.24 and adopting a new unified development code on initial posting, and set the public hearing for March 5th, 2026. Karen, please.
It is with great pleasure, and after years of hard, detailed work on behalf of the Planning Commission and a variety of our other board and commission members who served with that work group, that we bring forth to you this evening this unified development code document for your consideration. It's been a long, very detailed journey. So this document shows an incredible dedication by members of this community to take a look at our development regulations and restructure them into a much more user-friendly, easier to follow document. So with that, I respectfully request that you please set the public hearing on this ordinance 1521 for your next meeting, March 5th. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Council, do you have any questions of Karen? All right, hearing none, Karen. Did you want to say something, Catherine?
Yeah, I actually had a change. I
I
had a
thought so.
slight change. I wanted to.
Karen's like,
Just
what?
one.
It's okay.
It's okay. So I keep going over the code and this one has bothered me for a little bit. And I finally put it, once I got to see the entire code put together, it made more sense to me in some respects. So the original code in 1988 created a non-conforming use for stables in private residential neighborhoods, while at the same time it created a use table that allowed public and private stables as a permitted conditional use. When we redid this table, we separated them out, which makes total sense to me. But we allowed residential private stables in residential SR and UR zones. In 1988, we had 22 non-conforming stables. Today, we have 5. So it doesn't seem to be a use that is widely used. And I don't think we really want to have stables in our residential neighborhoods. So I would suggest that we take the permitted use away from the private stables. Oh, and if we agree to do that, we need to put back the 18.78.030 definition of non-conforming uses for the 5 that are still there so that they're grandfathered.
That was my question.
Thank you. Council, any issues with that? Do you have a consensus to give that direction to staff? Do we have that?
Yeah, I don't have any issues with that. I agree with Catherine's assessment.
Yeah, as long as we're preserving the property owners that have existing stables, the right to continue using them, then I agree.
I'm curious what Karen's thoughts on that are.
Well, I'm getting caught flat-footed, so I apologize. I wasn't
Well,
given a little bit of
I
a
did email
running
you, but-
start,
Okay.
but it's all good. You just gotta watch me think for a minute. That's
Yeah.
all.
I hope it's not terribly painful. I'm just teasing.
I'll let you know.
I know it hurts me.
There'll be a
sometimes.
whimper.
Smitty, are you okay?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
definitely.
Nonconformities are addressed in section 1.10. So in the first chapter is where that's really spelled out, as opposed to a definition of a nonconformity. There's an entire section
Okay,
that addresses uses and structures that are nonconforming. So I think that's already in place for you.
okay, so we wouldn't need to add that. That's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, I just want to make sure that the non-conforming is covered, that they're not.
Oh, yeah,
have
no,
issues.
because it's nonconformities are not limited to stables. Because
Right.
any other point down the line, there may be another change or a use that gets added or something happens. And then it can create a situation where something else is then non-conforming. So it's very normal, very standard to have language in your regulations that address nonconformities. And to this point, things that existed prior to these regulations going into place that no longer comply with them, they're considered nonconformities. So that's why you see that there.
The only reason I said it was because did we not have non-conforming in the code before? Because there's a specific section just for stables in the current code. So that's the only reason I brought that up. So as long as we can cover it.
This
I'm
is
fine.
part of the pepper flakes, if I
Okay.
recall correctly,
You got it.
that there were multiple sections that addressed nonconformities. So
Okay.
yes, one specific for stables. I think there were some others in a few, at least one other place. And then with regard to the stables, there is actually an additional set of standards that applies to stables. So use specific standards,
Yeah, they're the same as were in the code prior.
right? Because
Yes.
we're like restructuring things, but
Correct.
making sure things coordinate and just coordinate and tie together a lot more cleanly. So those standards, just so everyone's aware, and regardless of whether they're commercial or private, all stables must be a minimum of 60 feet from the front lot line. All stables must be located in a rear yard. There's a minimum of 1,000 square feet of fenced area that needs to be provided for each horse. This fenced area should not be less than 50 feet from any dwelling, 25 feet from the rear lot line, and 42 feet from a side lot line. I don't know why 42, it's kind of an odd number, but private stables are limited to no more than 5 horses or similar large domesticated animals, owned exclusively and used primarily for personal or recreational purposes by the residents of the property. Temporary storage of manure or odor or dust producing substances should not be permitted within 50 feet of any dwelling, or any accumulation must be removed monthly, May 1st to October 31st, and once every 2 months from November 1st to April 30th. Zoning development permit is required prior to the occupancy of any stable by an animal. And there is a section here that addresses modification of existing non-conforming stables. So if an owner of an existing private riding stable desires to bring the stable to full compliance with the applicable code provisions when additional horses are kept or the stable is modified. For the purposes of this provision, modification means alteration of existing stable that increases the size or changes the location of the stable, except for any incidental repairs and maintenance required to keep the stable in a safe condition. When the primary use of a property is changed, the owner shall be required to bring the stable into full compliance with this UDC and applicable city code provisions before the stable may continue to be used as a private riding stable again. Whenever the use of a private riding stable is discontinued for 2 years or more, the owner shall be required to bring the stable into full compliance with this UDC and applicable code provisions before the stable may continue to be used as a private riding stable again. And then the planning director shall require that a zoning development permit be issued and approved as proof of compliance with this UDC prior to the keeping of, and we actually need to fill that in. I know my consultant's listening, that we dropped a little bit of some verbiage there. So I'm glad we're having this chat. We'll fix that for sure. But the point I was trying to make is that there are very clear standards. So even if somebody at this point came in and, on just up here behind us, they're zoned urban residential and they wanted to do a private stable, even though it says permitted, there's this big list of things that they would need to meet
Pretty onerous.
if they wanted to follow through.
I imagine somebody buying 4 lots, vacating the lot line and putting up a
That's a lot.
stable, but
It takes a lot to put one horse in a lot.
okay.
I'm just saying, I don't know.
It just seems weird to me
Would-
to put stables in residential neighborhoods in the city.
Would it be a decent middle ground instead of permitted to go conditional? I mean, it kind of balances the two ideas. I'm just asking out loud.
Well, and so options are right now here on first reading is if there's not at the moment consensus to amend this, you
Yeah.
certainly have food for thought before we get to the
Final.
the public hearing.
Yeah.
And at that point, you can actively engage in a more detailed debate and get public comment on that before you kind of settle out on that. Or you can amend here this evening and keep or undo things at the public hearing. So you do have a couple of options.
So if we do a conditional use, as long as they meet the conditions, there's no basis to
right.
deny.
Okay,
Right.
fair
Right.
enough. Yep,
Yes.
fair enough.
So you can't just randomly deny
Fair
a
enough.
conditional use.
Yeah.
Am I correct in that,
Yes.
Madam Attorney?
Yes. I mean, for the most part, Karen has a caveat around it,
Karen?
but yes.
Do you agree with me?
99%.
Okay.
And this is where I've got 2 codes in my head and it's not 100% clear because our current code talks about must have a need or reason to be at that location. In just about any other community, it's so long as you meet the conditions, you have,
Okay.
you grant the conditional use permit or mitigate impacts of the conditional use. Like I
Correct.
said, Woodland Park is slightly different.
Okay.
And I believe that was carried forward because we were not, like I said, it was really a restructuring and not a content change.
Okay, thank you.
But the need, I mean, I've never seen one denied for the need. I've seen.
Well,
them
I
denied
think
for
that's
different.
it's
a
a
subjective. it's
subjective
yes,
thing, yes. Agreed. So, anyway, council, do you want to give direction to staff? You have consensus, Catherine, except we haven't had.
Yeah, I get that. So.
Yeah, I mean,
Fine.
I have no issues removing it as a permitted use. I'm with you on that. I don't see any future need for stables in residential areas inside the city limits. But
I personally, I think there's too many conditions that are gonna prevent people from doing it in
In
most of
most
the
neighborhoods.
SRU are. Now,
Okay.
if somebody did build a large lot, vacated lot lines, good for them, then.
Well, good for them, not necessarily good
minus
for
their
their
neighbors.
neighbors. I
you
mean,
know, if I was a
What's wrong
neighbor,
with
I would have a big problem with a
With a horse?
with a horse stable. I grew up around
With-
horses. They can be
yeah.
quite
you've got,
quite loud.
and you've got manure. I mean, 50 feet doesn't seem that far,
Well, I don't
but
know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It would be weird from my experience to allow stables in town, and I come from a pretty rural area, but
So can I make a suggestion, since this is first reading and you
Mhm.
guys are undecided? Can we talk about this at the public hearing and
Yeah.
see if we've got input from the people and the public that might help us come to a decision? Does that sound fair?
Yeah, the only reason I wanted to do it, and I'm fine either way. The only reason I wanted to do it tonight was so that it was in the document going to the public that they were gonna review, so they know that it's
Okay.
there, and if they had a different perspective, they could discuss it, but whichever way.
We can discuss it at the public hearing. If they see it and they
Yeah.
can bring it forward and we can have a lengthy conversation about it.
Yeah, I'm certainly hesitant to sign on to new stables in residential, but I don't think it would be a disadvantage to put this conversation in front of the
That's
public
fine.
hearing.
Okay,
That's fine.
all right,
yeah, I don't have any issues with that either.
all right. Thank you, Karen. Yes,
Well, I need clarity, please.
Yeah, we're gonna leave it as is
Okay, that was what I needed.
for now,
for now.
and
Okay.
we'll discuss it at the public hearing.
Okay, perfect. Thank
Okay.
you.
And is there anything you'd like staff to prepare to see on this item? Is there anything that could make it more clear?
Would you be able to tell us potentially how many lots that are in UR or SR that would qualify for a stable?
Currently,
That's a tough one.
That's a big ask.
Yeah, if we had a robust, fully functioning GIS system where we were able to pull that data very easily, it'd be a whole other story, but I don't know that we can.
Why don't you
Okay.
take a look at the zoning map and see what neighborhoods are zoned, those
Yeah.
zonings,
There's
and that'll
one-
give you a
There's
general
one
idea.
that you talked about.
yeah,
Like the lot up on
King's Crown.
Kings Crown
It's
that
like-
got merged all together.
Yeah, it's like.
But
seven-
it's
but-
not flat, right?
No, that
It's-
would be a
it's not
stable spot.
No,
conducive.
and that's not, and that one's far enough away from everybody. I mean, he's on 7 acres.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I can't think of
So,
anything.
but that should help you, Seth. If you
Yeah,
just look
I'll
at the
take a
zoning on
look and see
the,
if
on
I
the
can
zoning map,
figure it out myself.
that'll give you a general idea.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, then could I get a motion on the first reading, please? And set the public hearing for March 5th, 2026. I'll make that motion if you'd like me to, since I've already said it. Hello. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, council? All right, thank you, Monica.
Nakai,
Yes,
Bryant,
Yes.
Gear,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes,
Smith,
Yes.
Case,
Yes,
and ordinance 1521 passes.
thank you.
unanimously.
Item 9, public hearings. We have none this evening, which takes us to 10, new business. Item A is a public hearing pursuant to Woodland Park Charter 15.2B to compensate for the value of 1,263 square feet of Bergstrom Park parcel land encroachment. And Aaron.
All right, thank you, council. If you all can put that up there for me, thank you. All right, council, tonight we're here to discuss Bergstrom Park, the 1,263 square feet. We are joined by the Tava group here tonight as well. So I will invite them up once we go through these slides, and then I think will have a couple of things they'd like to share as well. So thank you very much. All right, I'll start with just a little bit of background on this parcel, just to jog everybody's memory. This is the master plan for the development of Woodland Station. We have 4 different phases there. You have the blue upper right there is phase 1, which is the Tava restaurant parcel that we've been seeing so much progress on there on Highway 24. Then we have phase 2, which is retail, which is the red L shape. We have phase 3, which is the plaza itself. And then we have phase 4, which is that very large lower lot there. This was the original plan of development that was presented. You can see the Tava restaurant there is phase 1, and then those are those subsequent phases that we have expecting in the future there. Oh, is the mic not working? No, it is. Oh, okay. Not close enough. There we go. All right, here's a brief timeline. We had the plan of development in April of 2020. We had the sketch plans come in June of 2023. Preliminary plat was February 1st of 2024. The SDA that was agreed to was approved on August 1st of 2024, and then actually recorded on October 23rd of 2024. Then we had ZDP and building permits issued for Lot 1, October 29th of 2024, and then the preliminary plat documents, and then the preliminary plat amendment and final plat were May of 2025 conditional improvements. So within that, why are we here? What are we talking about? So we're talking about 1,263 square feet of Bergstrom parkland needed for Tava to install the new turn lane required by CDOT. And Tava agreed to provide compensation to the city for the land disturbed in Bergstrom Park within SDA section 3.C and during the preliminary and final plat process. And so this slide comes right from the final plat process that was approved by council. We can see the drawing there where the turn lane is going to come in and encroach a little bit into the land, and then how the plaza is going to look there. So deceleration lane requires removal of trees and relocation of that sidewalk, closing of Center Street access to Bergstrom parking lot, relocating it to Bergstrom Alley, and then removal of 3 trees. And then the SDA requirement to finalize compensation to the city. So that's what we're here to talk about right now. All right, so this is the SDA language, just to jog everybody's memory, from section 3.C. And essentially it says the construction of the eastbound turn lane off of Highway 24 onto Center Street will require the existing city sidewalk adjacent to the highway to be relocated into the land that is part of Bergstrom Park. And it says the owner will compensate the city for the loss of this approximately 1,300 square feet, which it's 1,263 feet of parkland. All right. Here's
So
a picture. Oh, go ahead.
I had a question. So it's not just the land, it's the construction and the relocation of the sidewalk. So it's construction costs to relocate the existing sidewalk. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so owner shall be responsible for all construction costs to relocate the existing sidewalk and eastbound turn lane construction.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, and this is what we're talking about here. This is Highway 24 if we're looking eastbound there, right in front of Bergstrom Park. And then this is a side-by-side of what it looked like before and then what it looks like now. And you can see that decel lane has been added in, the sidewalk has been moved, and it looks pretty good. Yeah. All right, and then this is the actual Bergstrom Park land encroachment right here. This is the view beforehand, and then this is what the view looks like now. You can see where the decel lane is there, and then they moved over. You can see the entrance on the right there. On the left-hand side of the screen, you can see how the entrance has been moved over to the right, and we'll have another slide there that actually shows the improvements, but this is kind of an overview of what we're looking at. This is the 1,263 square feet. All right, so in order to come up with a valuation for this 1,263 square feet, we looked at market comps that have been made in the adjacent areas, the land bordering this property. So we obviously have the Tava land purchase from August of 2022. There was an $800,000 purchase price on this land for 288,000 square feet, which was about $2.78 a square foot, and then 1,263 square feet of that would be $3,511. So this is a valuation of the land based on the Tava purchase back from 2022. The city made a purchase in October of 2025. We made a $695,000 purchase for 39,000 square feet. This land purchase was $17.72 a square foot, which would come out to $22,380. And so we use these comps as a basis for what would the fair market value of this land be if we're looking at market comps. And so I see a couple of different options on just the valuation of what the land could be worth, that little strip. So obviously option one is if you use the city square footage, $17.72, that would come out to about $22,000. If you met in the middle of those two, you'd be looking at about $10.25 a square foot, which would be $12,946. And if you used a 75-25 split, you'd be looking at about $15.85 a square foot at 20,000, using 75% of the city more recent sale and 25% from the original sale from Tava. So that's kind of an overview of the thought process on how you could value the land itself. And then Tava did do some in-kind improvements that the city was asking for, and I see these as in-kind mitigation improvements. We had refitting and closure of existing park access, and then construction and improvements of a new access drive. So the total for these was about $14,000. And I will show you here what the improvements look like here. So you can see the turn lane, the sidewalk moved, Bergstrom Park there on the left-hand side versus Bergstrom Park now. And then you can see over here how the access drive into the parking lot has been moved from here on the center. You can see where the crosswalk was. Now there's a curb. And then the turn is actually in front of the Tava building over where the charging station was. So the charger had to be moved and improvements had to be made here. Any questions on that? I believe Tava is going to talk a little bit more about that directly. Is that correct, Mark? Yes.
So with the comps that you provided, I noticed kind of one key difference there. Both of those pieces of land were undeveloped, whereas this land was public, developed, and landscaped. Was there any ability to pull a comp for something like that?
There wasn't, and also with talking with the team, the parkland is considered undeveloped because it's not necessarily part of the park itself. It was more part of a parking lot and then a sidewalk. So we didn't look at it from that perspective.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So these were those in-kind improvements again. So about $14,000 for these in-kind improvements. And then here's just a table evaluation of those three options I showed you before and how you could value the land. So you had the city comp to 50-50 and then the 75-25. And then here's a table showing what the options would look like if you consider those in-kind improvements with net compensation based off of that. So what questions are there before we bring up Tava Group?
Council, do you have questions for staff?
Not for staff, no.
All right.
All right. Then I'll
All right.
invite you all
Whomever
up.
would like to come up from Tava. Welcome, Mark.
Hey, Mayor, council, staff, how are we doing this evening?
Good. Thank you.
Everybody good? Thank you for giving us the opportunity to present what we feel about this issue. Let me get this rolling. There we go. Okay, great. So just to tell you the context for all this, this is a good thing that we're having this conversation because that means we're working through our list for our CO for Tava. So we're grinding through that list, and this is just part of it that we're getting to do. It's tied back to our SDA, so it's something we have to complete. And so we're excited to be actually having this conversation. We're only a few weeks away, hopefully, from the CO. Okay, so let's go down memory lane for just a moment. Aaron's already done this, but let's just look at some of these dates here. We bought the property April of 2023. We got the SDA finalized and recorded October 2024. Final plat got recorded June in 2025. And here we are working on our CO requirements. We got the summary from Karen, October of last year. Okay. And we have already seen the language for the SDA, the section 3C. What we want to, unless there's other questions about that, what we want to point out is, see our last sentence there. It says, as you can see, there's no specific compensation language to define this process, which results in a completely subjective determination. There's no formula, there's no calculation, there's nothing else we can really point to. It's just this meeting this evening to come up with compensation. So we want some things to be on your minds as you make this deliberation. So as Aaron mentioned, we've spent a little over $14,000 on doing those improvements to Bergstrom Park. That closed that access drive over to Center Street, added the access drive from Bergstrom Alley, the relocation of EV charging station because of those changes in the access. Pardon me. And as a result of all this, the access, walkability, and safety are vastly improved. It's a good thing. The public improvements encroachment of parkland was mandated by CDOT for the eastbound US Highway 24 right turn onto South Center Street. So it's something that needed to happen. It has minimal impact actually to Bergstrom Park. There's no functional loss of use with Bergstrom Park. You can still get in there. You can still park your cars there. The sidewalk's still there. It's just that landscape strip that has been impacted. Sidewalks remain intact and are better aligned for public safety. And then there's this one other little thing that just keep in mind. Per the 2012 traffic studies, a decel right turn improvement was warranted at that time, but it was never constructed. So here we are. Please keep in mind that this impact of Bergstrom Park is a CDOT requirement. The impacted area was conveyed to CDOT, and as such, there's no direct benefit to Tava House. Tava House accommodated a city request for better and safer access to Bergstrom Park. Tava House is not leasing or purchasing the parkland. And the enormous investment Tava House is making to the overall improvement at Bergstrom Park, Bergstrom Alley, and Woodland Station in general serves to improve and beautify our city's central core for all to enjoy. So here's our request. Based on the limited nature of the parkland impact and the direct public benefits provided by the in-kind improvements described above, Tava House demonstrates and documents that the costs incurred show that full mitigation and compensation have been met for the impact of Bergstrom Park, SDA Section 3C. And as such, no additional compensation should be required from Tava House. That's our presentation and our stance on it.
Thank you, Mark.
Oh, sorry, I should have said.
Council, questions for
Yeah,
the
any
applicant?
questions?
Yeah, first question, Mark, on the 14K that you guys have spent.
Yep.
When we went and toured, there was a conversation about the EV charger and the difference in cost. Does that 14K include that additional 1,000 that
It
cost
is.
you guys?
It is. We sent out for several bids, and the one we wanted to use and select is it's 3,300.
Okay.
For a placeholder with Aaron weeks ago, we used 2,500, but it's the
Right, yeah.
3,300 that was it's the real number.
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure that
It's in
14K
there.
was
Mhm.
was the real number.
Yep.
Okay.
Other questions, council, of the applicant?
Not of the applicant. No.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
Okay,
Don't stick
thank you.
around.
Okay. A few more weeks and we'll have steaks.
All right. Council, questions of staff,
No.
discussion?
Now that part. Okay, so I think a couple things can be true at the same time. So I think the first thing that can be true is the improvements that we asked Tava to make count. And so I don't see any realistic or fair or reasonable standard to apply to say that the improvements that we as a city asked to make, which I'd argue we shouldn't have, but we did. So we did ask for that. So that 14K that they've put out counts. So I certainly think that should be deducted from whatever we determine the cost of that strip of land to be. But the other thing that's also true at the same time is we're generally not in the habit of giving out land. However minor or whatever that may be, that land has value. Our charter specifically prevents us from incentivizing business, and I could make a pretty logical citizen argument that giving away the land is thus incentivizing business. And Section 3C of the SDA agreement, while I do agree with Mark's assertion that no structure on how to determine the value was included, it is pretty clearly defined that land has value. So I think it's up to us at this point to determine what that value is to us, and then deduct the 14,000 in expenses incurred by Tava. And then whatever that number comes out to be is what it is. So I'm curious what the rest of council thinks.
So I don't think that the SDA, I don't think it doesn't conclude a value.
Correct. It does not. Yeah.
Right. But it is a legal contract that indicates the signers of that contract are going to compensate the city. So there's a responsibility. We did give up property, which I agree with you that we don't typically do that. And I like the idea of the in-kind being put into the formula.
So the question is, what do we want the formula to be?
Yeah. Aaron, are you able to pop
Can you bring
those?
up the slide deck again, specifically the one that talked about how you were valuing the land in different contexts?
So while you're doing that, I just have a comment that I don't see another way to accommodate the turn lane required by CDOT without giving up that portion of land.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was nothing else to use, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know that we had a choice of using that land to create that right turn lane, because it had to happen.
Mhm.
That's not our highway. And it was mandated by CDOT for that to happen.
Right.
So with regards to the choice of giving the land or not, ultimately, we really didn't have a choice.
If we wanted them to develop, yeah. We could have said no, and then CDOT would have said, well, you're never going to get a CO.
Well, yeah, I
So
guess.
that was
But
never the intention.
Is that really
but-
reasonable?
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But to that comment, and I don't disagree, I
Mhm.
mean, but the infrastructure, we knew the infrastructure at the beginning of the project. We knew that CDOT was going to require it.
I don't know that we did.
Oh, we did.
We did.
Okay.
We did.
We did.
Thank you.
And then any other development, if we give them land, they either give us money or they give us land to replace it. So they can't give us land to replace it. So we should be compensated for it. Now, I agree with everybody else. The in-kind should certainly should be part of that compensation, but I just don't see how we just give it away. Those are just my thoughts.
So as far as these land valuation formulas here, I'm a little partial to option 3. I feel a strong fiduciary duty to the city here that we have to be looking out for our taxpayers and the land that the city owns. And I believe that basing it completely off the city comp is a bit excessive, but we do have to acknowledge that it was highway frontage and that it was that there was some amount of loss with the landscaping and kind of those aesthetic features to it. I certainly don't believe that that full value, that option number 1 there, represents the nature or the true nature of that land's value. It was sidewalk. It was something that was mandated. But I think that kind of going that middle route there is probably the most fair to both parties. It represents a close true value of that land, but it also doesn't put the complete financial burden on Tava.
So by middle ground, you mean option 3 or?
Yeah, I'm sorry, option 3, not option
Okay.
2.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Kelly,
Yes,
roughly, this is gonna be a stupid question, so I want to preference that. but-
there's no questions of
But,
this stupid
but
question.
roughly.
wait, just wait.
Just wait. Yeah. Roughly for undeveloped land in the city, is there a rough price per square foot that's going for at this point? Like I said, stupid question, but
It's all over the place. It
Fair
just depends on where it's at.
Mhm.
And I would suggest that this land has no value to anyone besides them and us.
fair enough. Okay. Like I
And
said,
CDOT.
potentially stupid question.
Because I could not put that land on the market and sell it.
Yeah, because
there's no use
1772
for it.
is too high. But I don't, I also kind of, I almost feel like we should split the difference between the $10.25 per square foot and $15.85 per square foot. Whatever the difference in that average is.
Where did you come up with the 75-25?
Just that our purchase was much more recent.
Got
That's. Just give me 1 second.
No, I would go with, I wouldn't create a new formula. I think
It's
that's-
13 bucks a square foot is what the middle ground there is.
Yeah, but I'd go with what our city manager and staff put together. If I'm all for option 3. I think it's fairer. You know, we're doing a little bit of a discount on the 2025 rate. Cost per square foot. We're including the 2023 cost per square foot, you know, a bit of that in there. So I think I'm more geared toward option 3. What's the, oh, sorry.
No, please go ahead.
I was just going to ask, can you flip to the resulting slide? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with the pricing of option 3, and I think you make a valid point, George. Let's not go create another formula, although I did anyways, but I think
Where's
the
the
net
fun in
result
that?
of 6K is not unreasonable, given
In kind.
the in-kind, and it's a tricky situation. One of the things that I want everyone to understand is, because we're not generally in the business and we have certain restrictions around our charter to give away land, we have to charge something for it, and the contract specifically states that there would be compensation. So that's where I'm stuck is, you know, I'll admit I see both sides of this situation. But all things considered, I also support option 3.
For me, after listening and everything and my previous thoughts. After listening to everybody and having my own thoughts of this and thinking about it and such, yeah, I am for the option 3. I am a person that doesn't like giving away things, and especially for, you know, our taxpayers. Yeah, no, I am for, you know, the option of number 3 up there. You know, we shouldn't be giving away, you know, our taxpayers' monies nor our city's properties. You know, for me, that should have been thought about at the very beginning in the planning of such. You know, well, okay, we're going to be doing this. We're going to have to think about this. Well, okay, we're going to have to do this. Well, we're going to have to, you know, redo this. Well, now we're going to have to put this in our plans. So, okay, we're going to have to cut into the sidewalk. How much is that going to cost us? All that should have been thought about before they started all this. That's my thought. That's my opinion.
Thank you.
No, I'm fine with option 3.
So option 3 it is.
I mean, I do truly appreciate the fact that they spent $14,077 on our behalf, and I think the in-kind needs to certainly be part of that.
Yeah, I think
I'm
we
not
have really
taking that
strong
light.
consensus on
I'm not taking that,
aspect.
I'm not taking that expense lightly. So.
Yeah. And I want to thank the Tava Group for doing it.
Yeah.
They simply could have told us, you can request all you want, but go pound sand. So I do.
Do it yourself.
Yeah, do it yourself. So I do appreciate Tava Group for doing that. But yeah, I based on what I've heard and my own thoughts, I don't think we have any other option but option 3.
Yeah. So what's our action?
What do we
here
do now?
tonight?
Well, if you've made a decision, then would like a motion on this item 10A.
So then the motion would be.
Oh,
Yes.
hold everything.
Yeah,
Hold
I
it.
think it
Stop.
says public.
It says public comment may be heard.
Public comment.
hearing.
All right, I will open the public comment portion of this public hearing and ask if there's anyone online or in the audience that would like to address the council. Seeing no one, do we have someone online? There is,
Yes.
all right.
Who said yes?
Do you have a name? Nicole?
It's Mr. Sparman.
Oh, Arnie.
Arnie
Oh.
Sparnans, all right. If you could promote him, please. Arnie, we're getting you promoted.
All right, thank you.
Oh, he's there. Good evening, Arnie.
Okay, good evening. Yeah. Yeah, a couple of quick questions. One is in reading section 15.2, it says that this action requires the approval of a vote by registered electors. Is that something that we're able to waive then, that requirement then?
15.2
In the charter.
in the charter.
The
Give us a minute, if you would, Arnie, please.
Thank you.
15.2.
Says there's a requirement of the vote of the people. Yes.
We have discussed this over with the attorneys, and they feel that because this was not actually part of the park itself, it is a sidewalk and part of a parking lot, that it is not developed parkland.
Thank you, Arnie.
And the other part of that question is though, or the real part of the question is, from a public perception, I mean, the public still, I mean, as wonderful as this development is for the city and the potential and things like that, the city basically gave a private enterprise, 6.63 acres of land for $800,000. And if we use the same valuation criteria that we're applying here, that's worth over, $5 million if we use the $17, or maybe a little, closer to $3 million if we use the $10 a square foot. And I think you're going to have a lot of constituents that think they're being nickel and dimed by constantly being asked for more money, more taxpayer subsidy for this development. And I think you need to factor that into your decision process out there. Because once you give something up, then you keep giving more and more. And at some point you have to say, no, there's enough taxpayer money going in to subsidize, a private enterprise. And so my take would be that you seek full compensation. As I would say that the law requires, or the charter requires, full compensation. If you discount the compensation, then you're still giving a benefit to a private business. That's all.
Thank you. Is there anyone else online or in the audience wishing to address the council on this item? Seeing no one, I will close the public comment portion of this public hearing and look to the council for further discussion or a motion, please.
I mean, I'm sensitive to Arnie's point, but by the same token, how we choose to value land has a lot of factors.
Well, it's subjective.
It's very, very subjective. And so, Arnie, I assume you're still listening. I appreciate your point. And I don't think that your point is invalid in any way, shape, or form. I think just at this point, there's that line that we have that we're working on figuring out right now of what is reasonable. And I don't think that that kind of valuation, if you take a step back at say $17 a square foot, is the right way to look at this. So I did want to at least acknowledge the citizens' comment and the point that they made. But I think when you zoom out just a little bit, I think the path that we're on with option 3 is a solid path.
Thank you, Jeff. Anything else?
Well,
Yeah,
I don't know,
sure.
I go to the in kind. I mean,
Yes, yes.
Right.
they did it because we asked them to do
Correct.
it.
Yeah.
So they didn't do it and then come back and say, hey, look what we did for you.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I too understand where Arnie's coming from, but that in kind is, so we're still going to basically make them compensate us for $20,000.
Right.
And then we're going to obviously reduce the 14,000 that we didn't have to pay to do those improvements. So
Yes.
I don't think we're giving away the candy store.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think we're discounting anything.
Right,
I don't either.
right.
This is what we're doing, and I'm getting more and more on board. I mean, I was, but I'm more firm now on option 3 because we're taking we're taking an actual valuation, 2 of them.
Right.
I think the only subjectiveness is the 25.75. And then, we're giving, that's the full price minus the in-kind.
Right,
So there's no discount.
right.
Okay.
I mean, that's how I view it. I mean,
Yeah, I don't disagree. I wanted to acknowledge the citizens' point, so.
yeah, and I don't like I said, I understand where Arnie's coming from. But
Yeah.
But the city asked for that, so
Mhm.
that's the
Yeah,
crux
whether
of
we
it.
should or shouldn't have is irrelevant at this point. We
Right.
did it
We
and we're
did,
here.
yeah.
I mean, it really almost equates to them doing work on the city's behalf. out of their
Right.
pockets.
Right.
So it's
Exactly.
really a credit for money that they did on our behalf.
Right.
It's not like they cut corners, it's quality work.
Well, and they had people mobilized already.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were to do it, we would mobilize people to bring them out to do the work, and it would have been more, guaranteed. it
Almost
would have been more.
certainly, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly.
So
Okay, so what does the motion look like then?
Item 10A on your agenda.
No, that's just
Well,
calls for public.
Yeah,
hearing.
So is the motion you're trying to make, because I can make one if you all would like to amend it, but adopt it, but I want to make sure I'm right. You want to go with option 3, correct?
That's correct,
Okay.
yes.
So the motion that I would make, and somebody can say, I will make that, is a motion to approve option 3 as compensation for the value of 1,263 square feet of Bergstrom's Park parcel land encroachment as set forth in the city manager's presentation provided tonight for a net compensation of $5,923.00.
okay,
Is there someone going to make that
so I
motion?
make the motion that you made.
You can say, yes, I
Read the
I
motion
adopt,
as written.
yes. the
I
motion-
make a
do
motion
too.
to adopt the motion as read.
Yes.
Second,
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, council? All right, will you please call the roll? Marcia,
Yes.
Monica, Marcia.
Marcia.
Where did that come
Should we call her
from?
Suzanne?
Heavens.
Bryant,
yes.
Gear,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Case,
No,
no, Nakai,
Yes.
and the motion passes 5-1.
all right. Thank you, council. That takes us to item 11A, Mayor's Report. I have a couple of things to share. First of all, had the PPACG board meeting on the 11th. And we had someone present with regards to Initiative 175, which addresses and is a proposal that can be seen at restoreourroadsco.com. And it is the Colorado Restore Our Roads group. And Initiative 175 talks about a way to, without any additional taxes, to fund road improvements across the state. And so I wanted to bring that to your attention. It was pretty interesting, and I would ask you to visit that website and take a look at that. RestoreOurRoadsco.com. And the group is called Colorado Restore Our Roads. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. So people in the audience and community members can look that up and kind of see what they're working on and what they're proposing. Because we all know what our roads look like across our state with no hope for recovery. Let's see. I think that's all. Well, Crime Stoppers did a report to us with regards to Humane Society to respond to animal cruelty situations and different tips with regards to that. Their website is www.crimestop.net, and there's some interesting stuff on there with regards to that. And you know how I am about animals, so I just thought I would share that with you all, just a little bit. Yes? Yeah, I think we all are. All right, and I wanted to share with you all yesterday, the city hosted Senator Hickenlooper here at the Cultural Center with 15 of elected officials and community leaders. And he was here at his request to talk to us and hear from us. I know there's a Facebook post out there on his website that talks about something that he mentioned. And I intend to expand on what he posted to share what we talked about as a group of officials that represent the community. And Aaron was there and Seth and George were there with us. And it was an interesting, and we had the opportunity to, and Debbie was our MC, helped me put together an agenda and with the help of his staff. And we talked about wildfire issues. We talked about insurance, similar to, and I shared the forum that you had last weekend, and there's another one coming. And we talked about, and Tyler Lambert was there and John Gomes from his board to share their insights and perceptions on what we have as challenges with here. Interestingly enough, from the forum, this is a point that I want to share with everyone, is that the insurance commissioner, Mr. Conway, that was here, the thing that is driving our insurance costs and ability to insure our homes is not wildfire, it is hail. And so that's an interesting thing, I thought. So anyway, we talked about that. We talked about water. We talked about infrastructure and roads, and a number of things. So I intend to post out there, and I'm sure the city will want to put the same information out about what topics we talked about, because we didn't just talk about our current president. In fact, none of us talked about our current president. We talked about the issues that we wanted to share with the senator. So just a little report on that, and we'll get some more information out about the conversation. And today, Steve and I both were at the assembly at the high school that was delayed a couple hours because school was delayed a couple hours, but our Woodland Park High School graduate, Nicole Ayers, who was on the space station last year for 5 months, was here doing an assembly for the high schools and junior high school students. And the students were absolutely fabulous. They were so excited, and she was amazingly impressive. She's just a regular down-to-earth girl. She's very accomplished pilot in many different aspects. And she gave a spiel about her history and how she got to be an astronaut and how she got to go on up to the space station. But she also then turned it over to the students and opened it up, gosh, for at least 45 minutes, if not longer, answering their questions. And they had some great questions. So I just wanted to share, that was a pretty cool thing for her to come. She's here for a week. One of her buddies that she flew with, he's also an F-22 pilot, was here, and he shared with me because she talked about her photographs and the cool photographs she was able to take and observations that she had from the space station. And so I wanted to know, and I didn't interrupt the kids. I asked her buddy that was standing close to me, who's also a pilot, where we could see her photos and if her photos were out there somewhere that we could look at them. And she actually has an Instagram, and there's some awesome things there. It's astro_Ayers, AYERS on Instagram. It's ASTRO_AYERS. So I would encourage, I know social media sometimes is faux pas for people, but I would encourage you to go look at her photographs. And I know Steve's going to share some more because Steve knows her personally. So that's all I have, Catherine. No, wait, I have one event. Friday, March 6th is the Woodland Park Chamber Annual Dinner and Awards. I'm so glad I didn't forget this. Come journey to paradise while celebrating excellence. Come join in the celebration of Kip Wiley, Utilities and Public Works Director, winning Employee of the Year. Tickets for individuals and tables are available at the Chamber website. Now I'm finished, Catherine.
I just had to, I get to publicly congratulate Kip. I didn't get to publicly congratulate him last time, so he's phenomenal. I've worked with him on my UAC for years, and just as a citizen, I've worked with him. He's great. And then I wanted to remind everybody that the 3 of us are running, or 4 of us are running, and there is a candidates forum March 10th at 5:30 here in council chambers. And that's it.
Thank you. Seth?
Yes, the Keep Woodland Park Beautiful Committee had their first meeting of 2026 last Thursday. Really, the main focus of that meeting was the need for volunteers and leadership on that committee. So we are kind of operating at bare bones at this point. And we'd really love to see some new citizens join. We had Amy join at our last council meeting, and we're very appreciative for that. If there's any chance that you feel any capacity to serve the city, this is a great, fun way to serve the city. We do 2 big events each year, the cleanups. There's a great structure for it, so they're pretty well-oiled events. And it's really a neat opportunity to make a visible impact in our community. So should you have any inkling for service, checking it out, what being on a public body is like, please go on the website, woodlandpark.gov, fill out an application, and please consider joining. We'd love to have you. The more citizens we have participating, the better it'll be. Just to piggyback off Mayor Case there, I did have an opportunity to sit at the round table with Senator Hickenlooper, and a lot of things were talked about. I'm very appreciative for all the local leadership that showed up. We had Debbie from the chamber, we had Jody from Community Partnership, we had the fire district there, we had the health or the hospital represented, we had commissioners, we had city council members, and it was very nice that he gave us an opportunity to have that audience and express what was important here in our local community. And one thing that Senator Hickenlooper said kind of stuck with me. I don't necessarily agree with everybody's politics, but I do think he was spot on when he said, when we're trying to solve problems, it's going to take bipartisanship, it's going to take nonpartisanship, and people really coming together, working together on common ground. So I do appreciate that observation from him. But that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Seth. Jeff?
As much as this might shock everyone, I have nothing to report tonight.
Oh my gosh. Would you make note of that, please, Monica?
Very funny.
George?
Yeah, I just wanted to, same as Seth, I wanted to thank you, Mayor Case and Deb Miller, for really putting on a great forum roundtable. It was really well done, and it was very informative.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was.
Also, I wanted to thank my lovely wife, Lynn Jones, for winning Business of the Year, the Chamber Business of the Year for Zeb's Outfitter.
Yes, congratulations, both of you. Well deserved.
So she outdid you.
Yeah. Of course she did.
And congratulations to Kip.
Yeah.
Mr. Smith.
To start out with, for Park and Rec, the Aquatic Center, the big pool, the lap pool, will be closed next week for emptying and cleaning the whole week. And that's what I have for that. And to piggyback off of Mayor Case, with the assembly today with Nicole Ayers, we had a really cool time, as you can see. There we go. Yes, I've known Nicole since she was in middle school. And it was pretty cool. I walked in, we kind of missed the beginning of it because her coach, when she was in high school, Vicky Cusimano, we were waiting at the top of the stairs, waiting for her with not the knowledge that she was in a classroom on a video meeting. So somebody came out and said, hey, are you waiting for the astronaut? And we're like, yeah. Oh, well, she's in there talking already. And we're like, oh, well, thanks. So as we walked in, she had seen me walk in and she kind of smiled and she waved, as she was still speaking. But after that, we'd walked up and, we got hugs and, the pictures and everything. And after she got through with all that, got to talk to her for about 5 minutes. And yes, she is a really great speaker. She did do some really great answers for all kids. But what is really, really cool about the whole thing was there's probably about 8 special ed kids that she went up to after all the commotion, and she spent time with those kids after everybody had gone and spent time with them. That's the type of person that Nicole is. That's the type of person that our schools generate.
Yeah. She was fabulous.
Yes, she is.
I'm so glad to have been there.
Yeah. And, like I said, that's the type of kids that our schools put out.
Absolutely.
So be proud, community.
Thank you, Steve.
Yep.
All right, city attorney.
Hi, it's just good to see everybody again. I'm just subbing in for Jeff and Nina for the night. And just to think, just following up earlier, if an attorney or somebody makes the motion for you again, you can just say so moved. So I was thinking about that afterwards, and that's just a good way to move it. So otherwise, it's lovely to see everyone and see you again soon.
Thank you. Aaron?
All right. We have been working hard on the golf course. I wanted to let the community know that we will be putting out an invitation for a subcommittee. If anybody is interested in attending that, we are looking at March 17th. An official invite will be put out on socials and on the website, so be on the lookout for that. But we have quite a bit of work going on over there, so I think people will be excited once they can actually get inside and see what's going on. As far as the public comment we heard earlier about the hockey rink, obviously we're all disappointed at the limited amount of ice time that we've had. That RFP is going out very soon for several of the projects over at Meadowood. So if anyone's interested in doing that work, please put in a bid for that. We're going to be looking at quite a few projects over there, including turf, the hockey rink, the chillers, pickleball. So be on the lookout for that if anybody's interested in putting in a bid. Yes.
Remind me, how much do we have set aside in the budget right now for that?
I don't have the budget. I think it's $2,750,000.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Aaron.
That's all. And congratulations to Kip. He's not here tonight, so we'll embarrass him next time.
Yeah. Congratulations to all the winners as well. All right. If there's nothing else, then we are adjourned.